Okay.
So that's what I'm concerned about, is just, I'm concerned about that part. What financial harm can come to us with this document in terms of our banking industries.
Okay. Now that being said, who can answer that question, and can it get done in the next 2 weeks now, since it was 3 months?
I don't know the answer to that question.
Do you know who does?
I would hope that Aaron would know who can evaluate that, or I would hope that our chief financial officer can give us the answers to that. So I know I can't.
They need to get with you guys and then maybe put up a resolution or
well, we need a discussion. We need to talk
absolutely.
about it.
I would hope you guys were all talking about it.
Well, 3 months. We haven't, you know, we discussed it just a couple of times, the Constitution. We haven't really gotten into that. Like I said, we've been focused on finances and how are we going to take care of this budget. That was huge. And there's 3 different cycles of budgets that we're working with, not just one.
Okay, say if you got your answer question, your question answered. When it comes to a vote for the people, are you voting for it or not?
In the way that we wrote it with that committee? Unchanged?
Well,
unchanged except for, well, see, my understanding is that they're going to go in and just take parts of this Constitution that they want in and create another Constitution. I'm not sure. I want to see what they're planning to do with it, because I'm not part of that process. There's other groups of people who are working on this and bringing it to us. I'm confident in that document that as a member of the Constitution Committee that we turned in, I'm behind that. But I'm concerned about the financial part. We didn't look at that, where we're taking a certain amount of money and we're taking it back and holding it. Someone raised the question that this might violate some of our agreements with banks. That's a big concern. But the rest of it, I'm not concerned with.
And to me, I'm just looking at the way you put that. To me, that wouldn't be a problem. To me, it just doesn't seem like a problem with the banks.
And you know, it didn't seem like a problem to us either.
That's your money, and that's the tribe's money, and what they want to do with it, it's fine. As long as they're paying what they owe them, the bank should not have any say over that. Well,
when we were on the committee, we thought the same way.
You know?
But in this other levels of financing that I'm new to, you know, with having guaranteed levels and EBITDA and all those kinds of things that the banking and the CFO gets involved with. I need to have that explained to me, and I need to have someone show me how this document is going to not be a problem with that, or how it's going to be a problem and how do we fix it. I need to know that.
Yeah. And before you vote, and now if that
and
was
that's
explained
being responsible
to you,
to me.
That is very responsible. So that being explained to you, and that, then what would you say? Would you vote for it?
That's what I was hoping to do when we wrote it, to let the people vote for it.
So that's all you want to know is what you just said, and you would vote for it.
That's my concern.
Okay.
Is it going to cause harm to us financially?
And if there's stuff that you get into that doesn't make sense, you can always amend it, right?
It's not that simple. Can we amend it? Yes. But one of the things that I learned when we were working on that is we made lots of changes, and every time we wanted to make just a little change somewhere, when we saw how it affected everything else through that document, it's amazing how connected everything is. So while the process, we can make this change, yes we can, but you might change something over there and make it conflict within the document. That was hard to do. That took a lot of time.
But when you were putting that together, you took that in consideration, did you not?
And it got harder the more complete the document got. The more we had in there and we wanted to make changes, then we had, oh, you're going to change it here? Okay, then how does that affect the judicial system? How does it affect the executive? And we needed to say, where could this little change cause problems? And we had to always make sure that it was consistent.
But don't you think it's just lingering on with every little question everybody has, not just including, it would never pass. It would never pass.
When we did that Constitution, my first granddaughter was born. She's 6 years old now.
See?
That's how I know. I will tell you honestly,
there's got to come a point that you just got to stop and just do it and fix it later. Amend it. By looking. But you were comfortable. You're comfortable with it. you said you're very comfortable with it.
Except for the financial stuff.
Right.
Yep. I like the protections that it gives. You know what my favorite part of that Constitution is?
What?
It gives the members standing.
Absolutely.
That was one of my favorite parts.
Absolutely.
The separations of powers and things like that. You know, most constitutions have some sort of separation of powers.
Right.
But not all constitutions give their members standing, their citizens standing.
Well, usually
So
they have that consideration. Our tribe just took it all away.
No,
and
it's even
like,
so. But even in the United States, you know, in the United States, constitutional issues, citizens don't always have standing with that either. You have to prove damages.
yes.
Our members will have standing. That means that anybody, if they feel that the board or the judges or the chairperson or anybody in government has done something that violates the Constitution of our tribe, the members have standing. They don't have to prove that hurt me. They have standing.
Right.
So they can stop it before it hurts somebody if they're aware of it.
Absolutely.
And we haven't had that. We haven't had that.
Yeah.
That to me was exciting.
Yeah, and it's very exciting, and I think that's what people want.
And that was one of the best. Oh, it was heartbreaking to hear the stories of things that hurt people. You know, when we were doing that.
Yeah, and it's still hurting people. You know, and it's got to stop.
Yes.
You know.
Yeah.
You wanted people to heal. Well, if they have something, you know, to sit beside them and have a document like that, that's just going to put take the bricks right off their shoulders. Just knowing that they have that document.
Yes, but I want people to understand that at the point that that Constitution is passed, there will be a period of time while everyone's getting used to it and understanding it, that our tribe will be in chaos.
Oh, absolutely.
Every tribe who's ever
and
had...
it's not going to happen right away, is
No,
it? It
no.
takes time, right?
And that was the other thing that I was concerned about is, let's talk about how are we going to implement this? You know, if you pass it, it instantly is law. How are we going to transition to that? We need to be ready for this to become law. You know, because
well, thank God
one of the
got
things
you
that
on
they're
the board because you wrote it, half of it, and you were there for it. So
well,
you're gonna, you will be the expert on it,
thank
right?
goodness we've got Bill McDermott. That man, his brain is amazing. The things that he can remember. I don't have the memory that that guy has. I write things down and then I remember them. But he can just pull them out like that. And he understands.
So usually when people pull them out like that, they had a tough time and they're not going to forget it. You know what I mean?
Well, he was great. And
yeah.
We've had some good conversations recently. And so was Mr. Menard, Bob Menard. You know, those were great people to work with.
Yeah, and they all were there and they all voted to put 3 more months of their time in. So I hope to God you guys are ready in 2 weeks because I can't wait to go with that.
I want to see...
You're going to see me right there in the front.
I want it to be the same. I'm concerned that they're going to chop it up, and Bill would be concerned. And actually, Mr. Menard would be concerned too.
Oh yeah.
That it get chopped up and just you can't just take bits and pieces.
No, you can't do that.
You can't do that.
You know, reword it what you don't like in there and fix it how it's going to work, but don't take anything out. I agree with you there. I agree with you. Now, can we take a minute because I got to go to the bathroom. Yoo-hoo, camera. Okay, Jennifer, okay, we're off the Constitution and you're for it, okay, but you need a question answered. That question get answered to your satisfaction, then you will pass it, by all means, and you believe it.
I think people should pass it.
Well, yes, but it has to go through the board first, right?
I think you should let people.
Okay, all right. Now, that being said, let's talk a little bit about that Vegas trip that was going on now.
All right.
I was very, very strong, and as you could see about it, you know, because these people needing different things, and somebody taking a trip right now that's going to cost probably 4 people going about $10,000, give or take. But it's money. It's money that it should be in the bank, especially after hearing about the budget too. Okay, tell us what happened there with the Vegas trip.
What do you mean what happened?
You were going to go. You were one of the ones that were looking into it because how did you even know about that Vegas trip?
Well, we got contacted by the company who was putting this on. And there are lots of things that are tribal specific.
Now, they send you an email?
Yes.
personally?
Yes.
Okay.
And I also got an email from Joanne Carr, I believe, or Tara, one of them, sent me the information on this. I looked at it. It was talking about economic diversification of tribes and things like that. And I thought, that's a good thing for me to know about. So I asked, how do we do these things? What I want to go there. And that's all there was to it.
Did you automatically think that you being a new board member, you didn't really know? Did you think, how do we go about doing this thing if we want to learn this?
Yes.
Did you ask that question?
I did. I did. In the beginning, with the whole
now, who did you
board
ask
travel,
that to?
let's talk about the whole board travel process.
Yeah, I
Because
will
I
get
was-
to
I was
that, but
new
I
to
just
that.
want to get that cleared up right now. So who did you ask about these trips and stuff like that?
I asked Joanne Carr. She's the one who books these things. I asked about it, and basically I was told I just needed to say, this is where I wanted to go, and the arrangements would be made for me. So that's what I did. And it looked like a reasonable place to go, even though I don't like Vegas. I didn't want to go there. But there wasn't anything like this that I'd seen yet that was close enough for us to get to.
Okay.
So I asked them to book it, and then in time I was also going to go to NCAI. I'm now a delegate for that, National Congress of American Indians. And I asked them to put that with it. And then we started sitting through the budget meetings and things like that, and other changes within the board of where we're going to focus our energy had happened. I wasn't on the committee for the Lansing Casino anymore. Economic development isn't really where I wanted to spend my time. It's important, but it's not my area of expertise per se. You know, I don't know about casinos. I know that's not my area.
Okay.
Education is, and you know, other things are. And I started thinking about that and looking at these trips that I was going to be able to go on, you know, trips back and forth to Lansing with that casino. And I saw the Lansing activity as a sovereignty issue. But then when I saw the meetings and what they were talking about, there's no reason for me to go there. Let the board who's involved with casinos do that. And they are. So I canceled those trips, and then I went to the elders meeting, and I explained to them that I was backing off of economic development, and that I was going to focus on education, babies and children, or you know, children and elders. What was the other thing I said? Tribal sovereignty. You know, those kinds of things, not economic development. Because I'm one person. Where am I going to focus? And that was what I told the elders I was going to do. And then on that Wednesday, I got an email from Mike McCurchie, had my itinerary on it, and said it wasn't booked, which included Vegas. It wasn't booked. Great, because I'm not going to Vegas. You know, there wasn't any reason for me to go. I wasn't going to be focusing in that area, and I'd already canceled other trips where I wasn't being focused. Now, granted, they didn't include airfare, but they still would have included mileage and would have included a hotel and food. There wasn't any reason for me to go.
Because of the money too, right, that you had to spend.
Yeah, that was weighing on me when we sat in these meetings, and I said, I really don't need to go. Even though I would have enjoyed learning about it, it's not my area of expertise. So I wasn't going to those anymore, and I haven't been to the Lansing meetings. And I decided to just let Vegas die as well. There was no reason for me to go to that. You know, there were...
Did any of the other three have your thoughts, or did you just talk about it?
I told them that I was not liking to go. I don't like Vegas. I don't want to do this. And I don't remember if I think I told them Thursday, maybe, that I wasn't going. After I'd met with the elders, because that was a defining moment when we went there. I give them a report basically every month when we go and I talk with them and say what I've been doing. And that was when I finally decided where I was going to focus, and economic development wasn't it. And as far as I could see, that's what Vegas was. I didn't want to go. So I decided not to go. Now I will say that when I saw it going all over the place with STG, I thought, geez, I'm not going to Vegas. So then I checked and found out that I was partially booked. My trip was partially booked. And I said, I'm not going. I'm sorry, when it said not booked, I thought it meant not booked. So everything got canceled, including NCAI. You know, so I wasn't going.
On the most part of that, when you did start looking on the STG and what people's reactions were, where do you think they were coming from?
Pain, anger, that it was in Vegas. I wish it wasn't in Vegas. But you know, a lot of companies have things in Vegas. It's cheaper for them. There's big flight discounts a lot of times to go to Vegas. Now I don't know what all the reasons are, but it seems that a lot of them are in Vegas. And this one was set up, I was told, because it would be just a short hop to get to the NCAI, National Congress of American Indians. And that's why they'll try and set them so that it can make sense to fly from there. Instead of all the way across the country again, they try to keep them together.
Okay, I understand that, but you said pain, anger, that you
from the members,
the members.
Yeah.
What was when you saw that, did you get a clue as to their point of what they were thinking then after you looked at it and stuff like that?
Well,
you seen pain, you seen anger.
I saw them focusing mostly on that they were going on a vacation, that it was Vegas, and eventually it got around to, well, what are they going there for? And I was happy to see that someone brought forward what the seminar was going to be about. But I felt bad for the pain and the anger of people, because what they were seeing was Vegas, women going. And I think somebody posted "Girls Gone Wild."
Me.
Oh, was it you?
Yeah.
Oh, well, I saw that and I thought,
that was pretty good, eh?
and I thought, this girl doesn't go wild.